Hi. So this brief presentation is going to tell you a little bit about companion pet rescue, where our dogs come from, how they get to adopters in New England, and just give you a really brief sort of overview of our operations. And if you have any questions after you watch this, we will have our contact information at the end. And we hope that you find this interesting, and we thank you so much for taking the time to watch. A lot of people wonder what's going on down south that results in the extreme pet overpopulation that we're dealing with. And so, as you may or may not know, most of our dogs and puppies come from West Tennessee and some from Mississippi. And in that area that we live in, there is a very high level of pet overpopulation. And it's a really complicated reason why we're dealing with that. But just sort of quickly, sort of the quick explanation is that, we have really low income levels in the area. So that means it's pretty difficult for people to access low-cost spay-neuter and to get their dogs fixed. We have very limited resources, so that means there are just very few programs for people to get their dogs spayed and neutered for reduced amounts. We don't have any low-cost or free spay-neuter clinics in the area, so that makes it really difficult. And in part, it is cultural norms. We, have a lot of people who, they've had dogs for years, and if their dog gets pregnant, they give the puppies away, and they just don't see, any problem with that. But I think the biggest thing to remember is that it's not that people don't love their pets down south. By and large, people love their pets. It just might look a little bit different from what you might see up north. It's pretty common to have dogs kind of ramble around out in the country. And I think we need to keep in mind that when resources are attainable, people will almost always do the right thing. If they can take their dog to the vet and it's affordable, they're going to. If they have access to low cost spay neuter, they take advantage of that like more times than not. So, people in the South still love their pets just like anywhere else. We just have a lot of kind of issues that stand in the way of getting those pets fixed. Clearly, we have a lot of dogs. We rehome a lot of dogs and puppies every year, and people wonder where they come from. And so we get our dogs in, a lot of different ways. They come to us. We have a lot of owner surrenders, and that can be or sort of mean different things. Sometimes those owner surrenders are actual, owned pets, and someone has a health crisis. They have they move, something happens in their life that they can no longer keep that pet, and they need to surrender them. So we get dogs that way. We get litters of puppies from owner surrenders. Typically, when there is a dog that is, unaltered and they have an accidental litter, they'll surrender the puppies to us, and we always offer to take that mom. And if the person would like to keep that adult dog and just surrender the puppies, we get that mama dog fixed for them at no cost. And often we'll fix the rest of the dogs that are in the household for them so that their home is all set and, we don't have any issues there again. And it's just better for everybody all around. And then the other way that we get kind of owner surrenders, they can be drop off or found dogs. A lot of counties don't have any animal control, or a lot of counties or cities have animal control, but they don't take any owner surrenders. And so it can be really difficult for people when they have, dogs that show up at their house. And a lot of people dump their dogs because they don't have anywhere for them to go, and then they show up at someone's house. And so, after, someone has a dog show up at their home, or they find a dog and they have exhausted all measures to look for the owner, and after that hold period is up, they'll often contact us to take that dog. For many people, of course, it's preferable to if they find a dog and they can't find an owner, to send the dog to rescue than to send it to a shelter, because many of the shelters in our area are not no-kill, so they don't know what's going to happen to that dog. So, once the legal hold period is up, that person is technically the legal owner of that dog, and we take the dog from them. We also get many dogs and puppies from, local shelters, and then smaller rescues that have, limited resources and smaller adopter pools. We'll get dogs and puppies from them. A lot of the shelters in our area have, perfectly adoptable, friendly, loving dogs in their care. But those dogs are facing euthanasia because, they're open intake, they've run out of time, and space is always a concern. So those are sort of the ways that, that dogs come to CPR. The situation down south is quite, quite difficult for a lot of dogs. We have high levels of pet overpopulation, very low income levels, and it creates quite a bit of difficulty because we just have a lack of resources for, animals and people alike. So we get a lot of dogs like you see in the photos here. Lots of mama dogs with their puppies. When mama gets pregnant, they don't want her anymore. They don't want to deal with the puppies, and so we have a lot of pregnant females that end up at animal control, dumped out in the country. We get lots of sad little skinny puppies, like the two white puppies in the photo. We go to shelters, rural and municipal alike, and pull dogs like that little beagle there in the picture. The two dogs that are in the kennel standing on top of the dog houses, those actually came from a hoarding situation when law enforcement asked us to come in and help, and we pulled several dogs off the property that the gentleman was willing to surrender, because he realized he had gotten in over his head, taking in stray dogs in the community that had then also reproduced and became quite a nightmare situation. And the two little puppies that you see, the black and white puppies, came from a trailer park when animal control called us because someone had left a mama dog there, and her puppies were roaming the trailer park. So it can be pretty disheartening to see the dire circumstances. So the work that we do is really important and makes a huge impact in the lives of the dogs that we're able to help, and a lot of people as well. Once a dog or puppy comes to us, we have to do all of their medical work. Essentially the first thing we do when we get our hands on dogs and puppies is we administer all of their age appropriate vaccinations. That's really, really important to keep them safe and to keep every dog in our care safe. We also immediately deworm them, and then we do multiple rounds of deworming, and of course vaccinate on a schedule. Everybody gets flea and tick treatment when they come to us because it's absolutely necessary. Everybody's crawling with fleas and ticks pretty much year round. And then as soon as the dogs and puppies are ready, they're spayed or neutered. Any dog that is 6 months or older has a 4Dx heartworm test, and that checks for heartworm infection and any tick-borne illnesses. If they're positive for either one, we treat that accordingly. And then once they are negative for heartworms, they also get a ProHeart 6 injection, which is it provides them with 6 months worth of heartworm protection. So in addition to just the kind of basic stuff, we also take care of any additional medical needs like orthopedic issues, skin issues, all of that. And then we're constantly assessing the dogs in our care and the puppies in our care, and watching for any sort of new medical needs that pop up, and then we treat those accordingly, of course. And in addition to all of that, of course, we have to take their pictures, get them posted, and get the word out so that they can find their adopters. When the dogs come to us, they either stay at our facility that's down in Tennessee that we call the farm, because it's a barn on a farm, or we have them in foster homes. So the farm is for adult dogs and then any puppies that have had 2 vaccinations. When dogs come to us, they have to get vaccinated immediately, but puppies in particular, we need to quarantine them through 2 sets of vaccinations just for safety's sake. So until they have 2 vaccines, they have to stay in a foster home. But once everybody is able to come to the farm, that is a kennel type setting. And we have some regular staff members that take excellent care of the dogs and puppies there. We have Sarah, Jamie, Amber, and Sherry. And they, provide all the individual attention that they can, but it can be really difficult. There's a lot of dogs and puppies in their care, and they keep track of, medical needs. They provide medication every day, feed, clean, socialize them, take those pictures. So they are busy, busy, busy all the time. And, our goal with the dogs and puppies at the farm is to move them along, because the demand for intake is just absolutely crushing. And the space that we have is the space that we have. We can't overcrowd, because that's just not good practice. It causes anxiety in the dogs, and it's like, for health reasons, it's just unsafe. So there's always this crushing demand for intake. And so they attempt to sort of move those dogs along into foster homes, or to adopters, in as timely of a fashion as we can. Of course, we have foster homes in both Tennessee and Connecticut, and they operate a little bit differently. In Tennessee, we have puppies in foster homes that have not had 2 vaccinations. So we have a lot of our fosters have little puppy kennels where they quarantine the puppies while they're, going through those first couple sets of vaccinations. They will have adults in their care. A lot of our Tennessee fosters have a kennel type setup, and that's because, their sort of primary thing that they're doing is trying to get dogs and puppies to safety. So it's, getting them out of the pound while they still can, pulling them from shelters while they can, getting that litter of puppies that was being given away at the Walmart parking lot in and getting them to safety. And so they, typically have a lot more, dogs and puppies in their care, than we would see in a Connecticut foster home that would have, more likely a, single dog or a single puppy. But both of these foster home type situations are crucial, for being able to do what we do and for saving dogs. And so a lot of times we'll have dogs that are, they need a little extra attention. They're a little bit shy. They are going through heartworm treatment, things like that. Foster care is really important to have as an option for those dogs and puppies. So we have a facility, but we also have foster homes, and those are really, really important for our dogs. So maybe you've wondered how in the heck our dogs get from West Tennessee to adoptive homes in New England. So every week we have a transport. We have our own dedicated transport, and we have John and Adam who drive every week. They team drive. They leave Wednesday morning from Jackson, Tennessee, and they drive straight through between the two of them, up the coast, up into New England, and they stop quite a few, have quite a few stops on the way. And so they will deliver dogs directly to their adopters if they're pre-adopted, or ultimately our dogs end up, if they don't go directly into their adoptive home, they go to our adoption center that's located in Southbury, Connecticut. And so we send probably around 1,800 dogs and puppies every year up to New England to adopters. And in addition to transporting our own dogs, we also transport dogs for other rescues who are bringing dogs out of the South into safety and into their adopters in New England. So now that you know a little bit more about CPR, if you have any further questions, please don't hesitate to reach out to us. If you'd like to volunteer or donate, we'd love that too. You can go to our website, which you can see on the logo. It's cprdogs.com, and fill out an application to adopt. You can fill out an application to volunteer, or you can make a donation there. And you can find us on, social media. We have a Facebook account, of course, Instagram, TikTok, and you can, if you need anything else, feel free to email me at the address that's listed here on the slide. So we hope that this answers your questions, and thank you for watching.